Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving straight into a massive, high-stakes legal mystery. We're going to unpack exactly how a billionaire megastar is fighting to literally own her very own voice against the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence. Now, this isn't just some celebrity tabloid story. It's a huge collision between the entertainment industry and cutting-edge tech that's moving way faster than the law can actually handle. It's an incredible story of unprecedented technological leaps, stunning legal loopholes, and a really desperate race to protect fundamental human identity in the digital age. So, can an AI legally steal your voice? Just think about that for a second. It's a genuinely chilling question. For a long time, the idea of a machine perfectly replicating your vocal cords, your cadence, and your unique sound, well, it felt like pure science fiction, right? Like something straight out of a dystopian movie. But as we all know, it didn't stay fiction. It became a massive, unavoidable reality for the legal world and the entertainment industry in early 2024. And as we're about to see, the answer to this question was way more complicated and, frankly, a lot scarier than anyone anticipated. 47 million. That's the staggering number of views a single explicit AI-generated deepfake of Taylor Swift racked up on X back in January of 2024. 47 million. This wasn't just some minor internet glitch or an obscure forum post. No, this was the very first celebrity deepfake crisis massive enough to trigger a direct congressional response. The sheer volume of views created absolute panic across the entire music industry. It was the tipping point that forced lawmakers to finally pay attention. Because look, if it could happen to the most famous pop star on the planet, it could happen to absolutely anyone. This incident right here was the spark that ignited the entire legal battle we're exploring today. Now take a look at this timeline, because it illustrates a completely unprecedented speed of events. Normally, the legal system takes absolute decades to adapt to new technology. We're usually talking about years of debate just to pass a single baseline regulation. But AI forced all of this to happen in just over 2 years. We go from that initial crisis in January 2024 with the deepfakes, straight into the signing of the Elvis Act in March. Then boom, we hit a massive legal roadblock with a pivotal court ruling in July 2025, which ultimately forced an entirely new legal maneuver, a trademark filing, in April 2026. Let's break down exactly why this wild timeline unfolded the way it did. Which brings us to Section 1, the copyright loophole.
Okay, so in July 2025, a federal court in the Southern District of New York drops an absolute bombshell that completely upends the music industry. They dismissed AI voice cloning copyright claims entirely. They established that AI-mimicked voices fall completely outside of current federal copyright protection. No protection at all. To understand why, you kind of have to look at how copyright actually works. See, copyright protects fixed works. Think of sheet music written on a physical page, or a specific finalized audio recording of a song. Those things are fixed. But a person's vocal tone, the abstract overall sound of your voice, that isn't a fixed composition. So while your specific songs and lyrics are totally copyrighted, the sheer sound of your voice being cloned by a machine is not. According to this ruling, traditional copyright law simply doesn't protect it.
So overnight, this ruling essentially vaporizes the conventional legal defense. It leaves everyone asking one massive question. If copyright can't protect your voice from an AI clone, what on earth can? This is the exact terrifying problem Taylor Swift's legal team and, frankly, creators all over the world were suddenly staring down in the summer of 2025. It created absolute vulnerability. Artists felt like they were suddenly living in a digital Wild West, where literally anyone with a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection could generate a hit song using their exact vocal identity, and legally, there was seemingly nothing they could do to stop it.
And that leads us right into Section 2, a patchwork of laws.
Because the federal government was basically paralyzed, struggling to figure out how to even classify AI voice cloning, individual states scrambled to fill this terrifying legislative void. What resulted was a very, very messy geographical patchwork of state-by-state legislation, usually revolving around what's known as the right of publicity. Think about what this actually means in reality. Imagine you're a touring artist. You're playing a show in one state, and your voice is completely protected by local law. Awesome. But the second your tour bus crosses state lines into a state with no such laws, suddenly your vocal identity is completely fair game for AI scraping and cloning. The absolute chaos of this reality was entirely unsustainable for a global industry. You can see right here just how stark this divide really was. At the federal level, representatives introduced the No AI Fraud Act back in January 2024 to try and create national likeness and voice rights. But it got totally stuck in legislative limbo, bogged down by endless debates over free speech and fair use. Meanwhile, Tennessee, which is the home of the country music industry, of course, took immediate action. They passed the ELVIS Act, signing it into law by March 2024. This became the very first U.S. state law to explicitly add voice to the list of protected personal rights, shielding musicians from unauthorized AI cloning. So, quite literally, depending on your zip code, you either had groundbreaking protection or absolutely none at all.
This brings us to a major pivot in Section 3, the trademark shield.
So picture this. With zero federal copyright protection available and a completely fragmented map of state laws, Swift's team had to get creative. They had to find a federal shield that applied everywhere. On April 24, 2026, Swift's company, TAS Rights Management, took a massive leap. They filed 3 distinct trademark applications with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. These filings specifically targeted the protection of her vocal identity across live performances, digital media, and recorded music. This was the very first major attempt by a celebrity to actively use trademark law to block AI voice mimicry across the board.
Legal experts are actually calling this strategy the Josh Gerben theory. And honestly, the reasoning is brilliant. We normally think of trademark law as being for logos, right? Like the Nike swoosh or specific brand names. The pivot here is treating a human voice as a brand identifier. Think about it. If someone slaps the Nike swoosh on a fake pair of shoes, they're confusing the consumer. Swift's team argued that the exact same logic applies to her voice. If an AI clones your voice, they aren't necessarily stealing art under copyright. They are creating consumer confusion under trademark law. They're tricking people into believing the artist actually endorsed or created that AI track. It's an incredibly clever workaround, and a lot of folks in the industry believe this trademark approach might just be the ultimate loophole closer for the whole AI mimicry crisis.
Finally, let's look at Section 4, what this means for you.
Look, it's really easy to write this off as just another billionaire pop star's legal drama. But the precedents set by this 2026 lawsuit literally ripple out to affect everyday people. Swift's trademark gambit creates a vital blueprint for the rest of us. Think about independent voice actors whose entire livelihood depends on their highly specific vocal tone. Imagine an indie actor losing major gigs to an AI that was literally trained on their own audition tapes. Or picture an everyday podcaster whose voice gets cloned without permission to read spam ads online. If this trademark strategy holds up in court, it finally gives non-celebrities a viable, federal mechanism to protect their intellectual property and their literal voices from being scraped and monetized by giant AI companies.
So I want to leave you with this one thought. If your voice is your identity, who truly owns it when a machine learns to speak? As artificial intelligence keeps evolving so much faster than our legal system can possibly keep up, this is a question every single one of us is going to have to answer. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you next time.